Abba-dabby dude! Good morning, everyone. It's a new day, and it's day 3 of the most epic road trip we've done yet, I think. Well, I suppose the last one was kind of just as epic, but it was motorways and boring. Oh, shouldn't say that, should I? It was a very interesting video. Go and watch it. So it's the journey home today. We had our night in the Clansman Hotel, which was lovely. Had a nice chat to the receptionist on the way out there. She's been working there for 16 years, so she would have been there the last time we were here. But yeah, she obviously couldn't remember us. But they've done a lot of redecoration and stuff. It's really, really nice now. Not that it wasn't nice before, but it was like the restaurant is so bright and airy now, where before it was quite dark and old-fashioned. Again, another nice hotel to stay in. We had a balcony as well on our room overlooking the loch. Yeah, can't go wrong. So today it's the way home. It's raining at the moment, but it looks as though it's going to be another one of those patchy days. We've got white clouds, some patches of blue sky, so I think it's going to be one of those days of rain showers and sunshine. So yeah, the plan for today, we take a different route to the route that we came up. So rather than going down towards Perth, Stirling and across, we're going right down the length of Loch Ness, all the way down to Fort William, but we're going to stop off in Fort Augustus, purely because there's a new charger in Fort Augustus. Now, we don't need the charge, but it's been shown up on PlugShare for 4 months now, as being coming soon. And the last attempted check-in was about 3-4 months ago, where somebody said still not connected. So I thought, we're literally passing right by it anyway, so I've decided to stop just to see if it's hooked up. It's a Charge Place Scotland. It's the new style Evo, the Rapides. And yeah, thought it'd be worth stopping just to see. Now, our plan is to go via there, then down towards Fort William, no stops. And then we pick up the road down to Loch Lomond, and then follow the road down along the bank of Loch Lomond. And then we arrive at Lomond Gate Services, our old favourite. And obviously that's the new style charger. A better route planner reckons we can get from the hotel to Lomond Gate Services with 11% charge left. So assuming better route planners, as pessimistic as usual, I'm expecting to be able to get to Lomond Gate with around 20%. So I don't need to charge up before Lomond Gate. That's one of the benefits of the car that helps to offset against the problem with those old style Evo compact chargers, is the fact that you've got so much range that not every time, but most times, you can find a new style charger. And on the routes where you can't, there's enough old style chargers that a bit of ABC should get you a charge. So yeah, as I say, we can comfortably get to Lomond Gate, I think. So the only reason we're stopping at Fort Augustus is to try it. But yeah, then it's from Lomond Gate, the usual route, all the way down to home. So when we get to Lomond Gate, we probably only need to add about 25%. I mean, technically, no, we do need to charge it, but we only need to charge, if we add about 25% at Lomond Gate, we should be able to get home then with about 20% charge, which is what I like to do, unless I'm doing a deep cycle of the battery. So yeah, that's the general plan. So as I say, first stop is Fort Augustus. We do not need to charge there, but if it works, we're gonna charge there. We're just coming through Drumnad Rocket. There is a charger here as well, which is one of the old styles, but I'm over ABC at the moment, so I'm not going to stop there to try it, because as I said before, we don't need to charge, so what's the point? and I've got enough data on the old styles by now to know that I've got around about a 40 to 50% success rate on them, and I think that's, you know, if I keep going with it, I think it's going to stay at that kind of level. So 40 to 50% success rate. I think the charger is probably in this car park just to my right here. Oh yeah, I can see it just over there. You can't see that, but there's an old style Evo, as I already knew. So yeah, there's one right there, which you could use in a pinch, but you've got new style at Inverness, new style at Fort Augustus, and even if that's not connected yet, it will be at some point soon. So with those two only being, what, probably 20 to 25 miles apart, 30 at the most, you know, I would strongly suggest you're better off not playing the numbers game and just go to the one that's going to work 100%. So that's the advantages. Charge Place Scotland are still expanding quite quickly, so these new ones are getting added on quite a regular basis. So, you know, the ABC policy is probably becoming less and less critical. The West Coast is still a bit hit or miss. So, you know, if you're doing the West Coast, unless you plan really carefully and are really lucky in the route you're taking, sometimes the only option there is ABC. But yeah, as I said, rain's gone off and the sun's come out, so it's going to be one of those days, I think. So that's the plan for the way home, and yeah, it's been a good trip so far. I'm quite looking forward to the drive home. It's again going to be through some dramatic scenery, so I just remembered my dash cam dramas of the other day, but it's all set up correctly. Yeah, there'll be some lovely scenery. We're going through the Highlands all the way down to Loch Lomond, so there'll be some spectacular views, I'm sure. Lots of greenery, probably quite a few lochs and things alongside the road, and if the sun stays out, it's going to be particularly nice. So I guess I will talk to you when we get to Fort Augustus and see if this charger is hooked up yet. I say I'm not necessarily expecting it to be. I'm just a bit surprised that it's taken this long. I know they do sometimes, but this one seems particularly particularly slow in getting commissioned. So we'll give it a go, and if it's working, I'll leave a plug share check-in so that everybody knows it is now connected. Or if it's not, I'll leave a plug share check-in saying it's still not connected, and at least people like me will know that 4-month-old one isn't the last attempt, you know. So it's all part of the public service I provide to the community at large. I'm basically a philanthropist. So yeah, I'll talk to you at Fort Augustus. Okay, well, as you can see, it's clearly not connected yet. Still boarded up, covered up, and also double iced, which is really nice. So, yep, off we go. Right, well then, as kind of half expected, although I was hopeful that it would be connected by now. I mean, that's a very long time to be waiting to be commissioned. And all the locals with petrol cars are obviously getting very used to parking in front of it, which is probably going to come back and bite them later on. But yeah, unfortunately, Fort Augustus is still not connected. Like I said, we don't need it. Better route planner reckons we get to Lomond Gate with 11%. Up to there it was spot on. We arrived at that charger with 73%, which better route planner said we would. But I think we'll make up some now. I've got a sneaking suspicion that between here and Lomond Gate we will make up some ground anyway. But even if we arrive at 11%, you know, even if it's out by 10% in a bad way, we still get there with 1% left. I mean, that's not as tight as I like to be planning it, but my point is, surely that's the worst case scenario, is being 10% over a better route planner's estimate. So I know it sounds like I'm having range anxiety. I'm just explaining the thought process that goes on with an EV, really. I'm not bothered about it, and these are the reasons I'm not bothered about it. Because we've got more than enough range, and we know Lomond Gate works. You know, what have I used that now? 4 times, 5 times? I've lost track. It's faultless. Maybe I should shut up. Maybe I shouldn't say things like that. But, you know, I'm comfortable that Lomond Gate will work. However, on the way down there, we have still got, and I've set an waypoint for the Green Welly stop at Tyndrum, just outside Crianlarich. So we've got that one. There's another one about 100 metres up the road, 100 yards up the road to the Real Food Cafe. And then there's another one at Crianlarich. I'm fairly confident the one in Crianlarich won't work. It was a fairly scabby old machine. The last time we used it didn't work then. Wouldn't expect it to work now. But my point is, there's 2 at Tyndrum, which are really good options. You know, we've used one of them and it worked. The other one looked like a pretty new machine, but I'm not 100% sure. But even if neither of them worked, it doesn't matter. I mean, all I'm going to do is monitor my usage, so that when we get there, we need to arrive there with, well, let me get to a nice bit of road where the car can keep itself between the lines. Yeah, if we get to the Green Welly stop with at least 30%, then we don't need to stop at all. If it's any less than 30, then that means arriving at Lomond Gate with less than 10, which I don't really like judging it that fine, if I'm honest. I'm not that kind of a confident EV driver. I know some people are fine with like arriving at a charger with 5%, 4%, 1%, but 10% is kind of my comfort zone, if I'm honest. So I guess if we arrive at Tyndrum and we've got less than 30%, then I'm going to try that charger at the Green Welly stop, even if only for a few minutes, you know, just to give me that comfort zone. But I'm not expecting to need it. I'm pretty sure when we get to Tyndrum, we're going to have more than 30% charge. I might eat those words, but and if we do, I'm not even going to bother stopping and trying it. I'm past that stage now of trying them for the fun of it, on these road trips. The sort of consumer advice section of it has kind of run its course, I feel. We know what to expect of those old chargers, so it's just same old if I keep on doing it. So from now on, I'll use them. If I need to use ABC, obviously I'll use ABC if it's needed on the route. But if I don't need to use it, I'm not going to do it just for the sake of testing the chargers out, because I know what's coming. So yeah, as I say, we will get to Tyndrum next. I mean, the rain's probably not helping, although like I said on the way up, I'm not finding that the rain and wet roads is making as much of a difference to this car as people generally say in EVs. I mean, a better route planner says rain eats 10% extra and heavy rain takes up about 20%, but I'm actually finding my range doesn't alter by much at all if it's raining. I mean, I would guess that torrential downpours and, like, not flooded roads, but, very, very wet roads with, visible water patches, I'm guessing that would sap it a bit. But I'm finding, like, in general, this kind of weather doesn't actually affect my range very much at all. So I don't know if it's a function of the weight of the car, but as EVs go, it's most of them are heavy cars, so I don't think it's the weight of the car pushing down on the road. I don't know if this is where the 22-inch wheels maybe work in my favour with the Pirelli P0 tyres. Maybe it cuts through that water a bit better and the rolling resistance is less significant. I genuinely don't know, but all I can tell you is I don't find that it's having a huge impact on my range. Nothing really particularly noticeable so far. So we'll see. I mean, if we arrive at Tyndrum with 30%, which is bang on what a better route planner reckons, then obviously the rain does have an effect, because I would expect to get there with significantly more than a better route planner saying. So, that'll be our next assessment, I guess, of wet weather effects, because it is, so far anyway, significantly and consistently wet. However, we're stuck behind this bloody coach. Actually, I think there's a camper van in front of the coach, so yeah, which is reducing our speed, which is improving our consumption. So, it's all yin and yang. But yeah, we will push on to Tyndrum now. You can enjoy the view of the rain, and I will talk to you once we are either at the charger at Tyndrum or driving past the charger at Tyndrum, just to give you an update then. And I will talk to you soon. Right, we decided to stop for a bit of a walk around. It was just too beautiful to miss. We're here in Glencoe. You can see quite a spectacular shot behind me there. I-Pace with the hills behind her. Oh, did I just say her? I hate people that do that. Right, I have decided to pull over. We're in Glencoe, not the village, just the Glencoe Valley, and I'll switch to the front camera in a second, but we decided to have a bit of a wander around, have a look. There's a big waterfall up here which you'll see in a second. I can only apologise for the sound quality. I expect it's going to sound very windy, but for reasons I won't go into at the moment, I'll probably do it at the end, but I'm having a few equipment issues today, just for a change, so I'm having to use the microphone that's built in for this particular session, and it's quite prone to wind noise, I'm afraid. But yeah, if you look, I mean that is what we've been driving through. I mean, this is spectacular. And if I switch to the front camera, this is what we're walking up to have a look at. It's only going to be a sort of 5-10 minute stretch of the legs. It's only a lay-by at the side of the road, so there's no charging point, which, you know me, I like to stop at charging points. But yeah, it just seemed like too nice an area to miss. I apologise if it's a bit wobbly, but one of the equipment issue I'm having is with my gimbal. But as I say, I'll go into that later on for you. But if I just do a quick 360 of where we are, really, does it get any more spectacular than that? And in case you're wondering, the answer is no, it doesn't. Okay, I'll continue on up to that waterfall and I'll talk to you up there somewhere. So, this is the waterfall we were struggling to get to there through all the wind and rain. Pretty spectacular. All that rain obviously has to go somewhere, and it comes out in beautiful sights like this. But yeah, just the sight and the sound of it as it winds down the hill, and then behind it you got the loch and the hills and the mountains, and well, just Scotland, isn't it? It's just Scotland. This is spectacular, and sometimes you do have to just take some time out, stop the car and enjoy the scenery. So yeah, I highly recommend, if you haven't been, you have to come. Scottish Highlands, honestly, it gives you such a lift to your soul. It's an absolutely, I keep saying it, but I just can't stress it enough. It really does give you such a lift, even in the rain. You can't go wrong with it. It's stunning, absolutely stunning. then we have just passed the Greenwelly stop, which better route planner reckoned we would have 31% when we passed it, and we passed it on 32% actually. So, and as you've probably seen from the footage, we've had some horrendous rain on this leg of the journey. So it kind of looks to me like a better route planner's dry weather predictions are actually, for the I-Pace, pretty accurate as wet weather predictions, very wet weather at that. So, I mean, I would almost say that's heavy rain conditions, and a better route planner adds 20% onto your consumption for heavy rain. So it's, yeah, it is pessimistic, but the good thing is, if you just do a better route planner plan, you know that whatever the weather is, it will work. So it saves you having to do different plans for different weather conditions, I suppose. The temperature is bang on what I'd programmed it for. You know, I'd set it for 13 degrees dry. It's 13 degrees but not dry. So the temperature ties in. But it's been horrendously wet, and we are pretty close to the consumption that it reckoned we would get. So all of that to say, we're not going to stop at the Greenwelly stop. Well, we're past it already. So we'll just carry on past Crianlarich, down the banks of Loch Lomond, and then straight to the old faithful at Lomond Gate services. So yeah, it's been that part of the journey was interesting, with wet roads, horrendous rain, limited visibility, but some great overtaking opportunities as well, which you probably saw. Yeah, there's an awful lot of people. It is a Sunday, and true to form, there are an awful lot of Sunday drivers out today doing 30 miles an hour in the 60 limits, which is, yeah, far from ideal. I wish they would realise, people like that they're causing as much of a hazard as the people that are speeding. I mean, in some ways they're causing a bigger hazard than people that are speeding. I've got no problem with people not doing the speed limit, but 30 in a 60 zone, that's ridiculous. And that was in dry conditions. That was before the rain started. So those people, I shudder to think what speed they're doing now in that weather. But yeah, so the good thing is that makes you overtake them, which makes you have fun in your I-Pace. So yes, next stop, I guess, is our only remaining charging stop, which is a fairly quick one. I think we're only going to have to add, well, having said that, if this keeps up with better route planners' predictions, we'll have to add about 35% in fact of charge. So I guess that would take us about 20 minutes, something like that. So that's enough time for a coffee and a pee, which I think we're both very much in need of. So once again, the Jags range proves that it is more than sufficient. Yeah, it's been a fun leg, that one. There's some beautiful scenery as well. I mean, we had to stop at that lay-by just to walk up that hill and enjoy that waterfall. It was just spectacular. Like I said, that kind of thing is really what the Highlands are all about. And if you're going to go to the Highlands, you have to be prepared to just occasionally just pull over and enjoy it. Get out your car and enjoy it. So yes, we'll follow the banks of Loch Lomond now. We're not there yet. We've still got to get sort of Tarbert-ish and then pick up Loch Lomond southbound. And I will talk to you probably at the Lomond Gate charger, where I could, to be honest, we've been there so often, I could just cut in some stock footage from past visits. But I won't do that. I'll talk to you when we get there. Okay, till Lomond Gate then. Bye for now.
I can't say
Okay, here we are at my favourite spot in the world. Again, apologies, this footage is a bit shaky and the sound's a bit windy, but I've got no gimbal working and my microphone is also not functional, mainly because of the gimbal. The microphone itself is fine. So anyway, there's the charging flap open, and let's go through the usual process and see if it works as perfectly as usual. So we start off with tap of the card, authorising, authorised, CCS, connect your vehicle, so pull the cable out, plug it in, back to the car. Oh! Right, well that... okay, that did not go as I expected it to. Okay, it's doing it again. Let's... oh, no, 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 no. No! Oh no! What did I say about being too complacent? Uh-oh. Right, that is far from ideal. Far from ideal. Oops, sorry. Told you I'd lost my gimbal's broken. Right. Okay, there's only one thing to do, and that is an emergency reboot. So that's been pressed. Unlock the emergency button. That's done. And press restart. That's done. Oh dear, that's a wee bit of a worry, but let's hope it all goes swimmingly now. There's the reboot coming. And still got red lights. The screen's gone live, but we're just waiting on the charging circuits to cycle themselves. There's Chademo sorted. Come on CCS, please don't let me down. We stopped, by the way, with 15%, so 4% better than a better route planner, but less than I was hoping for based on my expectations, but it was very, very wet. In my defence, oops, sorry. Right, there we go, that's plugged in. Let's press start. Please work. I don't want to be waiting for 30% to be added with AC. Says it's starting. Let me see. Is the car going green yet? No, that is still white. Oh, come on. That's quite slow. Oh! Green light. Charging. Okay, it's saying 16%. It definitely said 15 in the car, but whatever. Okay, I want to get to, well, I need to get to 45. I might just push it to 50. So I guess we're here for about 20 minutes, half an hour, but we want to use the bathroom and have a coffee. So we're going to do that. Let me just step over the charging cable. Are we still going? Yeah, we've added 0.5 kilowatt hours. There we go. Phew! There, a little bit of tension. You know, you gotta have some dramatic impact in your videos, haven't you? Right, so there we go. Car is charging. I'm gonna go do what we need to do and have a coffee, which is one of the things we need to do. And I'll talk to you, I guess, with a final roundup on the last leg on the run home. See you later. well, we are on the way home. Charging stop, as you saw, was not without its moment of tension, but you can never not have that. Come on, it's important. But yeah, once I rebooted it started fine. Second time we had a coffee, we used the bathroom, my wife used the bathroom again, teeny bladder, and now we are on the way home. But by the time we got back to the car, I wanted to get to 50%. I needed to get to 45 according to better route planner, to get home with 20%, but I kind of wanted to get to 50 so that then when I get home, I know this is going to sound really anal, but when I get home the car would then be comfortably above 20%, and then I could leave it to start time charging in a few hours, whereas if it gets on with less than 20%, I feel the need to top it up a bit first so that it's not holding a low state of charge, because that's not very good for lithium-ion batteries. So, very long-winded thought process or description of the thought process there, but basically I do like to make sure, unless I'm doing a deep cycle of the battery, which is once every 3 months, I like to make sure I get home with over 20%. So by going for 50%, that would have meant probably 25%, but even if we overconsumed, we'd still be above 20. As it was, by the time we got out of the service station, we were at 55 anyway, so no worries at all, no dramas. We'll get home with probably around 30% state of charge, but if we don't get there with 30%, we'll get there with 25, which is comfortably above where I want to be. I've also decided, because we've made such good time on this journey, I am going to stop off at the cattery and pick the cat up on the way home, because he's been missing me apparently. So he gets an extra night at home, which he'll be happy about, and I believe the cattery rather is also going to be happy about it, because he's been making rather a lot of noise about the fact that he's not very happy. So yeah, what is there to say about this trip? Well, it's the second sort of long trip, if you like, that we've done. You know, the second sort of more than a day trip type of journey. This one, where the first one was all motorway, this is the first sort of up to the Highlands of Scotland and on A and B roads that we've done of that kind of length. And I managed to avoid doing ABC with my route planning methodology, which I've shown you in another video which I did before about how I plan my routes. I'll stick a link for it up the top now. So yeah, I managed to use that method to avoid old style e-volt chargers, so all good. Managed to get by on the new ones. A couple of moments of drama, one induced by my personal blonde moment. There's nothing wrong with the charger at all, it was just me, although it did take 2 attempts to get it going. And then that last charging stop there, as you saw, also took 2 attempts to get it going, but no major drama on that. It was just a quick reboot and off it went. So yeah, it was a very enjoyable trip. We thoroughly enjoyed it. Didn't get to do the thing that we went to do, which was go around Brodie Castle, so we're going to have to make that trip again at some point. I suspect it might be next year before we do that though. And then yeah, but the Highland Games were phenomenal. It was really good. I'd say it's the first time my wife's seen that. Castles are always there, Highland Games are not, so it made more sense to go to the Highland Games and let her experience that than to go to the castle, which, as I say, we can catch any time. So it gives us a good excuse to do that trip again. It was a really enjoyable trip. Loved the hotel, especially the first one, the Nairn Hotel. Wonderful woman that runs it, Camilla Ireland. Camilla for Queen and Ireland for country, as she put it. Loads of interesting stories, fascinating person, beautiful hotel, great location, right by the beach. Cannot fault it. Doesn't have an EV charging point, but that's very minor. As I say, cannot be faulted as a hotel. So yeah, that was brilliant. And then second night, really only booked 2 nights because we could, really. In all honesty, I just didn't want to go to, well, as it turned out, the Highland Games, but the original plan was Brodie Castle. I didn't want to go there and then be setting off at 5 o'clock in the evening for a 300-mile drive, or possibly later, 6 o'clock, for a 300-mile drive with charging stop, or maybe 2 charging stops. So that was the logic for the second night, really, just me being a bit cautious, I guess. But it was well worth it, again, another lovely hotel. We stayed there before, as I said, so it was nice to stay there again. We stayed there, I think it was the night after I proposed to my wife. The night of the proposal, we stayed at Loch Lomond, so I think that was the next night that we stayed at that hotel. And it's been updated a lot. They've done quite a lot of work to it, and it's lovely. And then we had the drive down, the unsuccessful charge stop, which wasn't really a charging stop anyway, to be honest, but I wanted to go to Fort Augustus just so I could check in with PlugShare and let them know whether that was connected or not. Still not connected. That's extremely long. And then from there straight down to Lomond Gate, recharge there, quick zap and dash, and off home. One thing I'll say about Better Route Planner is it would appear, well, first of all, it would appear that I was wrong. Heavy rain, definitely heavy rain, does have an impact on the range of the I-Pace. It's not horrendous, but it does have an impact. Light rain and kind of, light to moderate rain doesn't really seem to have as big an effect as I thought it would. But we've had some horrendous rain today. Horrendous rain. And we were still ahead of a Better Route Planner and its estimations, its expectations. We were way, even at the end there, we should have got to the Lomond Gate with 11%, and we got there with 15% on a fairly short leg, fairly short journey. So even in rain, a Better Route Planner is pessimistic. So I guess all that to say, if you are planning a drive, if you put it into a Better Route Planner, just use their sunny, their normal dry weather calculations, and it will cover you almost whatever the weather. Try and put in the correct temperature, and I think it will cover you whatever the weather. You might end up charging slightly earlier than you need to, but that's not really that's not a disaster in my mind anyway, to my way of thinking. More of a disaster to not charge when you do need to, if that makes sense. So yet another brilliant drive in the I-Pace. Now I've adjusted to the whole Charge Play Scotland thing, and now I've adjusted to how to plan a drive with the I-Pace, with the limitations of those old e-volt chargers. There's a bit of effort before you set off, but after that, it's just effortless. It's such a nice car to be in. I keep saying it, but it is stress-free driving. Part of that is the EV experience, just not having the noise of an engine whirring away. It's louder than you think it is. I know everybody's used to it, but it's louder than you think it is. And the effortlessness, all those overtakes that you've seen on the dashcam footage were just effortless to do. There's none of this, change down a gear, get the revs up, sit behind the car, pull out, oh no, there's something coming, pull back in. in this, you don't have to build up to that overtake, and any EV is the same, in all honesty, to some extent. In that you don't have to prepare yourself. You know, in a petrol car, I would prepare myself before the bend. If I knew it was a straight road after a bend, I would get set up before the bend. You know, so you drop it a gear, get the revs up, close up slightly on the car in front, get round the bend, pull out, and then if there's something coming, you have to pull in, change back up a gear, and it's all been for nothing. But in an EV, you just wait till after the bend, pull out, floor it, and pass him like he's standing still. It's glorious. It never gets boring. Although Mrs. Abu Dhabi Dude might have something else to say about that. Yes. She finds it quite, shall we say, invigorating? Let's go for invigorating.
Invigorating.
Yes, let's go for invigorating. So, but yeah, it makes long drives painless. I mean, over the weekend we've done, you know, by the time we get home, we'll have done around about 620, 630 miles, I think, which is well over 1,000 kilometres, or over 1,000 kilometres for anybody that works in those strange measurements. And really, I feel fresh. I feel really fresh. The seats are ultra comfortable. The car, I mean, a lot of the driving, once you get onto the B roads and the twisties, the auto steer isn't really worth using. But once you sorry, I'm just checking. I think, did I miss a turn off? I don't think I did. Yeah, once you're on the motorways and the dual carriageways, you can just let the car steer itself. I did want to go that way. The car's changed its mind about the route. Hate it when it does that. I wanted to go the scenic route, and now it's taking me the motorway, and I told it to take me the scenic route. And then once you set off, it just autonomously decides to change the route again.
Sounds like my husband.
So that's a bit annoying. I missed my opportunity there. I'll see if I can come off at the next turn in and pick up the scenic route. Anyway, not that bothers you. So yeah, easy, painless drive, and just a great car to drive. I love it, and I would never want to go back to internal combustion. Not ever. I am so happy we made the switch. And the slight charging inconveniences, I maintain that they're not inconveniences. Although you're there, you know, it takes longer to put the fuel, if you like, in. It's not time that's really spent fueling or charging. It's time where you're off doing something, so you're plugging in while you're doing something. We were having dinner or having a coffee or using the bathroom. So in actual fact, I maintain that petrol would have taken us longer, because we would still have gone and got food, we would still have used the bathroom, we would still have got a coffee. So all that time where the car was charging would have been dead time, and then we'd have had to go to the petrol station and spend 5-10 minutes filling up with petrol. So even though it is it takes longer to put it in, you don't have to stand there with the car while it's happening, so you can be off doing stuff. And it's a thought process that you have to get your head around. And once you realise it, once it twigs, you really think, wow, that's actually easier. It really is genuinely easier. And once you get your head to that place, EVs are just absolutely awesome. I mean, the longer range obviously helps, you know, rather than being stuck charging every time you have to stop. Rather than sort of every time you have to stop, rather than having to charge every hour, say, on some of the short range vehicles, having the longer range of 200 plus, and I would say 200 plus is probably more than enough, but having that you you can then use it in that way. If you're having to stop every hour, let's say, then you're probably not ready for a bathroom break, unless you're my wife. You're probably not ready for a coffee, you know, so that maybe does eat into the time on your journey. But if you're able to go 3 to 4 hours without charging, you know, you're using the time where you would have been stopping anyway, really. Which makes perfect sense to me. Makes for a simple driving experience where you're not at the mercy of the car. And I think this myth grew up in the past because of the older EVs, you know, the shorter range EVs. But now you've got your 250, 300 mile cars, 200 mile cars. You know, it really isn't an issue anymore. It really isn't. And I think even something like the MG ZS with its 160 mile motorway range would probably be enough for most people to still get away with that kind of logic, that kind of driving, you know, where it's not a big deal. Anyway, that was a very long-winded talk about driving and range, but yeah, that's what I've learned from this journey. So it's been thoroughly enjoyable. I hope you've found something to entertain you along the way as well, and I hope you've had as much fun as we have on this one. And that's all there is to say, other than if you have liked it, click on the thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe as well. You can leave any comments down below, and I'll try and get back to you with a response to any comments you leave. If you do want to subscribe, don't forget to click the bell icon, and you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video, and you won't miss anything. If you want to subscribe, you can do that right now by clicking on my ugly little face over there. And don't forget to check out some of my other videos like this one up here. Till next time, this is Abu Dhabi Dude saying so long, take care, see you soon. Bye. Abu Dhabi Dude.